Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video it will be sort of a redo of how I use washi tapes in my coloring books, on my coloring book pages. I was asked by someone in the comments if I can show how I use it. So those of you who have already been subscribed to my channel know that I already did a video, but as you know, because of this child online protection stuff and YouTube, COPA, whatever, I just deleted all of my content just to be on the safe side. So today I'm going to demonstrate how I use washi tapes in my coloring books again. And without further ado, let's get into the materials you will need. Okay, so first you will need a Posca pen. It doesn't matter which size, preferably white, because I use this to white out the black lines if the clothing has lines in it. And if you are using washi tape that is semi-transparent or transparent, you don't want the black lines to show through. So I use a Posca pen to white those lines out, or I use white acrylic paint. I don't water it down. A paintbrush, obviously, if you're going to use paint, or you could use white gouache if you have gouache. And again, I suggest that you do not water it down so that it can be opaque to cover the black lines. You will also need some scissors. You can use ordinary scissors, but I like to use these manicure scissors. One, because they're a bit, I don't know, they're a bit better because they're smaller, and then mine has this curve which really helps, like curved edges, if your illustration has flowers or hands or whatever in the way. And it's easier to be able to use that. Or you can use an X-Acto knife. You can use a box cutter. I don't know. You can use whatever to cut the washi tape. Or you could tear it, but your lines won't be as sharp if you tear it, unless you're doing a really large area. But again, I don't suggest that. I suggest using some type of scissors. And of course, you will need washi tapes. So some of my washi tapes are semi-transparent, maybe like this one and this one. So that's why I suggest whiting out your lines. Or if you're using a dark one, such as this one, it really doesn't matter. And I've ordered all of my washi tapes on Amazon.com, the US Amazon. And they live in this bag, embarrassingly so. But I like them in this little bag. And then these are all the washi tapes that I own. So without further ado, let's get into the picture. Alright, so using washi tapes more or less look like this. This is a picture that I first used washi tape to do clothing for, and I never came back to this picture because I feel like her skin looks sunburnt. It's way more orange red in person than it is showing up on camera, but this was my first attempt. And then I actually completed a page where I used washi tape completely for the clothing. And as you can see, this washi tape is semi-transparent, and I did not white out the black lines where the decoration on her clothing was. So that's why you can kind of see it. That's why I'm living learning. I recommend you white out the black lines. So ever since doing this one, I've learned to do that with the white paint and Posca. So this book I ordered on AliExpress. That's ALIexpress.com, and I will try to put it somewhere in the video where the website is, and also in the description box. And no, I'm not affiliated with them, but people may ask me. So today I'm going to demonstrate in this book, and I believe it's called A Dream in Red Mansions. I'm not really sure because the interpretations are so different, and this one was ordered on AliExpress as well. And I am just going to use washi tape here on her sleeve and here on this larger sleeve. And it's a bit tricky because of the flowers right here, but I'm not really concerned about that because a lot of the time I finagle it to where it just looks neat and I don't have to worry about it. So what I'm going to do is just shake up my Posca a bit, because I do want to get rid of maybe these lines here and some of those over here, because they may be seen through my washi tape, and you may have to do 1 or 2 layers of Posca if you use Posca, wait for it to dry. Or if you're going to straight out use the acrylic paint, you probably do not have to worry about it because it may come out thicker than the Posca and it's more opaque. So I'm just going to use this to get rid of the lines. and let it dry a bit so I can get prepared to use my tape. And this is really easy. Now, a disclaimer, I did not make this technique up, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that had discovered it because I saw it on Instagram as well. So I know for sure I'm not the originator of this technique. I'm not claiming to be. I'm just showing you the way I do it, and my way may not be the most proper way or the only way, but I'm just showing you how I use this technique personally. And I'm just going over this a bit more. There may be a glare, nothing I can do about that because I'm not sitting at my desk. I'm sitting in a different place and the light is way brighter here because the light at my desk sucks. So I have moved to my OG filming table that I used to use. And so all that to say that there may be a glare. So sorry about that. So I don't want to scrape the paper up because I do have a tendency to do that sometimes. I just want to make sure that I am putting a good enough white layer down to make sure that I'm covering these lines good enough, because I think the tape that I've chosen to use is a bit semi-transparent. Did I get... Okay, no, it just looks like that. Okay. These lines I'm not really worried about, but I'll go ahead and do a little there. So I think I may need to do a bit more. So what I'm going to do is maybe do one more or two more layers of this, let it dry, and then I will be back to start the picture. Alright, so I am back and I went over the black lines a bit more with my Posca pen, and you want to make sure that your paint or your gouache or your Posca pen or whatever you're using to white out the black lines is completely dry, because you don't want to put this on top of the wet paint and you may want to play around with the positioning of your tape and then you'll have paint on it and it'll be a mess. Trust me, I know from experience. So just make sure it's completely dry. And then I've chosen this green tape because I know I'm going to have to use green within this picture, and I kind of in my mind know what color I'm going to do these. It may change by the time I get around to this picture. Who knows? Because it's not one that I'm going to readily complete right away. I'm just using it as a demo, but I know this will most likely coordinate with the picture. So what I am going to do is line my tape up with the line that the artist has already drawn. And I like to make my first one very straight, and whichever direction that I'm putting the tape in, I will make sure that I continue that direction throughout the rest of the garment. So I've come to the edge here, and I'm just going to pull it out a bit more because her kimono actually goes all the way down here. And I will just take my little manicure scissors and cut the edge. And if you have, any, this is a one-sided book, so I can wrap it around. Sometimes I do that most of the time because that way it won't peel up, but this should be fine. So right here, I've gone over where I would like it. So I'm just going to peel it back to where I think will be good for me to cut it. And I will just cut along to where I don't want it. So I have this little piece left, and I'm really weird. Even the smallest pieces of tape I like to save because I never know if I'm going to need it for an itty bitty part. That's just me. You don't have to do that. So it's helpful sometimes because the tape gets cut at an angle and you can always use it again. Like I can use it right here for this angular part right here off of her sleeve. So if I want, I'm not going to use it for here, but if I want, I can go ahead and put it here, and that'll be the inside of her sleeve, but I'm probably going to make that a darker color, so I'm not going to fret about that. I'm going to use this sharp part for this, and what I like to do is, as you can see, this big leaf is cut off here, and on here, my big leaf is the same. It's cut off here. I like to line it up. That way it makes it more of a seamless transition with the pattern. You don't have to do this, but I highly recommend that you try to line your tape up if you have the patience, because again, it makes it a seamless transition. So I'm going to go ahead and place my tape here. I am going to cut the edge. I'm going to fold it over a bit. Cut the edge. I will save that. And it's easy for me to see where I need to cut because the outline is dark. So what I like to do is go ahead, cut the extra. Now my scissors fall apart sometimes, so if that happens, y'all, don't laugh. I love these little things, so I just put them back together again like Humpty Dumpty, and all is right with the world. So I'm just cutting along this thick line. And that's the sleeve. And let me hold it up so that you can see. And I may have to cut it a bit closer, but because I'm so far away from my paper, I can't get up on it the way I would like. So I'll do that after I finish filming. So what I'm going to do is continue my pattern. So I'm just looking for where the pattern cuts off to where it makes sense. And it's okay to move your tape up and down and figure it out, and then any excess that you cut off you can just use for another part. So that's all I'm doing, is looking for where it looks best to continue my pattern. I think this is good because I have a couple of leaves lined up. Oh wait, I'm too far over. So I think that looks good. And I'm just going to come up a bit. Let me just look and make sure. I'm too far away. That's why you need to make sure it's dry, because if it is not dry, that is a problem. And this is fun because you can stick it and re-stick it as much as you want, and nothing is going to happen to it. So I need to lean my little head down here so I can see better. Alright, because I'm too far off. I'm leaving a space. You want to get it as close to the last bit where you cut the tape as possible. You don't want gaps in it, because then it really won't look right. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut along my line. That one's done. And then, so even though her hand is here, and even though I've went past this part, when I'm getting ready to clean everything up, I'll fix that. So I like to just keep my pattern continuing over whatever it is that I'll color, because it just makes it transition better in my opinion. So I'm just trying to line up. No, maybe I want to line up this one. I'm trying to get my leaf that I want lined up. Yep, here is good. Making sure I am scooting it over as close as I can. Alright. So we will cut here and down around the side and cut all this away. So that's why I like the manicure scissors, because I'm really able to cut at an angle and get all these weird little places. Alright. So that little piece, oh, it's on my finger. I don't want that piece. I'm trying to flick it away now. Okay, so I will cut at the bottom and then fold up the edge, the parts I don't need, which will be this and this one. And I'll just cut along where I don't want the tape, which is this thicker line, because like I said earlier, most likely I will do the interior of her kimono a different color. I will not use washi tape. So we are just going to cut along this part, peel it up. think I can go ahead and cut that whole part. And then her finger will be a bit tricky. So I'm going to kind of peel the tape up and then just cut around where her finger is. Because that would be a weird finger if she had a leaf pattern. Could be a tattoo though. It could work out that way. So let me get in here and cut that part. Easy peasy. And then it kind of will tear with your finger too. I'm just rolling it, gently rolling it, and it's tearing it around her finger where I would like it for me to be able to grab it and cut around. So sometimes it can be a bit fussy depending on where you would like to use it. Like I said, if fingers and stuff get in the way. But that was not that bad to get around her finger. So that is her sleeve here. And as you can see, I get it really close and I try to line up certain things so that it can have a continuation and look more uniform and precise. And that's pretty much how I use washi tape in my color books for clothing or curtains, or you can use it for anything that you want to look fabric in your picture, whatever. So I'm going to do the next sleeve on my own. This is just me demonstrating how I use the washi tape. So everyone who's new to my channel who have never seen washi tape in a coloring book, this is how I do it. There you go. Hopefully you try it. Hopefully it's fun for you and it just adds something extra to your pictures in the future. And if you're watching this again because I recorded this a long time ago and this is like a redo, thanks for watching. Hope you've tried it and you've found it fun and helpful. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys in my next video.